Hello everyone, welcome to Tzu Chi This Week. I'm Duncan DeAeth and it's great to have you with us. Volunteers are teaming up with Street Health in Toronto to provide a winter aid distribution and hot vegetarian meals for the city's homeless. Scholarship recipients and their parents recently attended an event hosted by Tzu Chi volunteers in Malaysia. We'll visit some recycling volunteers in Monrovia, California, United States to see their commitment to protecting the environment. Since 2005, the Tzu Chi Toronto branch in Canada has been collaborating with a local organization, Street Health, to host a winter aid distribution for the homeless at a church every year. Recently, they held the event again to care for more than 250 homeless people by distributing clothing and hot vegetarian meals.
We can tell how cold the weather is by observing the snow on the ground and the clothes volunteers wear. Since 2005, Tzu Chi has started to collaborate with a local organization to host winter aid distribution at the church, spreading endless love to the homeless.
Street Health is a small organization and we run on a very tight budget, but when we have support from the community like the Tzu Chi Toronto people provide, it makes things so much easier and we're so grateful for that support.
Toronto Tzu Chi volunteers treat the homeless with delicious hot meals in winter once each year. Tzu Chi volunteers deliver blessings with clothing and nursing supplies.
They don't have those things. It's quite a cold winter, and they really struggle. So all of those things are incredibly important, particularly socks, because we have people walking around all day. They don't have proper fitting shoes. They don't have boots when it gets cold and it gets icy and it gets snowy.
And we're here today. We could be gone tomorrow.
Yes,
but you know, it's very important that we're there for others when they're in need and give today. And it's the best thing that I've ever done in my life.
When winter comes, the people that Tzu Chi cares for are a part of their family.
In Taiwan, a Tzu Chi care recipient from Taichung's Nantun, Ms. Chun, was unable to clean up her home because her parents are on dialysis and she also has an illness herself. Seeing that this family's living environment was cluttered and unsanitary, Tzu Chi volunteers pitched in to clean up their home and bring them a new mattress. Now, Ms. Chun wants to express her gratitude to Tzu Chi by doing recycling.
Ms. Chen is a Tzu Chi care recipient from Taichung. Her home is cluttered because she is unable to clean her environment as her parents have to undergo dialysis and she suffers from an illness herself. After moving out the old mattress, volunteers now try to move in the new one, but they can only move in by going up the stairs. 4 to 5 volunteers work together to carry the mattress up by taking the stairs. They finally come up to the 5th floor. After moving in the new mattress, Tzu Chi volunteers carefully spread the bed sheets and fold quilts.
Now this family have a comfortable living environment, their health condition will improve, and they'll have hope in their life.
Seeing volunteers' dedication and care, Ms. Chen pledges to contribute something.
When I have free time, I'll devote myself to doing recycling.
In Indonesia, a Tzu Chi care recipient from Jakarta, Jahai Tukfa, suffered from a stroke, which sent her into a coma last year. As her family was unable to afford medical expenses, Tzu Chi reached out to provide them medical subsidies. Thanks to Tzu Chi's assistance and care, now this family can get through this difficult time.
I talked to her that night, but before I went to bed at 11 p.m., I found she was already in a coma, so I sent her to the hospital right away. She was diagnosed with a brain hemorrhage. I couldn't understand how this could happen because she was healthy before.
Upon receiving the bad news, Lydia didn't know what to do. As her family had a financial problem, they were unable to afford the medical expenses. Fortunately, with the assistance of Tzu Chi, they can get through this difficult time. Volunteers pay regular visits to look after for Cai Zhoufa's health and pray for her.
I thank the volunteers who came to visit us. Thank you very much for caring for my family and my mother. We didn't know each other before.
We know that when her mother gets sick, she needs everyone's support. With everyone's support, she will be stronger and more energetic.
During the Lunar New Year, volunteers share blessings with the family by bringing them some gift. With Tzu Chi's love and care, now they are full of positive energy to face their difficulties.
In Malaysia, the Tzu Chi Kuala Lumpur and Selangor chapter has been promoting the Happy Campus program since 2011 to assist disadvantaged students. Recently, the Tzu Chi Serdang retreat in Selangor invited scholarship recipients and their parents to attend a special gathering. Volunteers promoted the Happy Campus program and arranged interactive activities to bring parents and children closer together.
The Happy Campus program assists underprivileged students to continue their education. The Tzu Chi Serdang retreats in Selangor, Malaysia, host a gathering where parents express thanks by sharing their experiences and supporting one another.
After receiving the assistance from Tzu Chi, the condition of my family has improved a lot. It is a great help to our finances and many other things. She has also progressed in her studies.
Tzu Chi's assistance has reduced our financial burden. That's nice.
Volunteers have arranged an interactive game for the parents and children by drawing back to back.
This activity lets them know that when trouble occurs in our daily life, parents and children should get together to communicate with each other and solve the problem, not simply talk about it and do nothing.
This interactive activity has brought the parents and children closer together. The parents now feel at ease when their children go to school.
An education volunteer camp was recently held in Beijing, China, with games designed to help volunteers learn Jingsi aphorisms. Some participants noted how they felt their character improved by playing the games.
They think these children's games are too easy to play.
It was my arrogance. Except for the hula hoop, I felt I could finish all the games. But in fact, when I was playing them, it wasn't so.
When we want to do certain things, we will give ourselves one problem after another. But after this event, we can turn the impossible into the possible by solving the problems one at a time.
The camp also has a lesson on experiencing pregnancy. Now with big bellies, the volunteers cannot move quickly and feel tired. A child's hope lies with having education. Volunteers try to think from children's angle and learn to understand other people with love, instead of giving orders all the time.
Tzu Chi volunteers have been delivering wooden plaques with Jingsi aphorisms to different schools. Recently, volunteers in Central Taiwan and Tzu Chi's honorary board members worked together to send these words of wisdom to schools in Miaoli and Nantou. They hope the students can apply these teachings in daily life.
Tzu Chi volunteers have come to deliver wooden plaques inscribed with Jingsi aphorisms to Jiangong Elementary School.
We hope that they can apply the good words in life through this campaign.
Words can help change people's mindset. Therefore, Tzu Chi volunteers have also brought the words of wisdom to Zhongfeng Elementary School.
Let students come in contact with words of wisdom in life and learn from them.
Jingsi aphorisms, which look simple, carry deep meanings.
Happiness is not derived by the amount of wealth, but by the generosity shown by us. This teaches us to be content.
Besides speaking good words, they can also harbor good thoughts and do good deeds.
Jingsi aphorisms will inspire the students to be their best, while planting seeds of love in the young mind.
In China, Tzu Chi volunteers regularly look after seniors in their community. Next, we will join volunteers as they visit seniors at a nursing home in Shanghai as well as solitary seniors living in Hunan. Let's see how Tzu Chi volunteers are there to spread love and warmth to these elderly residents who often suffer from loneliness. This 60-some-year-old grandmother is delighted to see these Tzu Chi volunteers for their monthly visit to this nursing home for the elderly. Every time they come, there is always fruit gone bad and old snacks sitting out, which the volunteers are always sad to see. When her son was very young, he was taken to the United States. She has never seen him since then, but she still sets out snacks in hopes that he will come to visit her someday.
We're also your sons and daughters. We'll come visit you every month, okay?
Thinking of these lonely seniors causes the hearts of volunteers to ache, which is why they never miss their monthly visit. They always offer the seniors tea and loving company to warm their hearts. Likewise, in Shanghai, volunteers also make a regular visit to a community nursing home. Most of the residents' children have all disappeared to pursue work in distant places.
If Tzu Chi is coming tomorrow, then all the seniors will be extremely happy. If I tell them you'll be here at 9, then they'll all be downstairs ready by 8:45.
Tzu Chi volunteers never disappoint the seniors, as they always come prepared with activities and familial warmth to lift the seniors' spirits. Because of Tzu Chi's dedication to them, the seniors all decided to show their gratitude by honoring these volunteers.
They have cared for me for so many years, coming every month. This is not something that is easy to do. It's difficult to continuously care for someone for so long.
This moving gesture from the seniors affirms and strengthens the great love that these volunteers have for the elderly in their community. Recycling volunteers in Jiangsu, Suzhou, have been working hard making the rounds in their community to not only collect recycling but also to promote the practice among local residents. By educating local communities, these volunteers are doing their part to inspire a new attitude towards environmental protection. These volunteers are venturing out of their recycling station to go out into the village to promote recycling and touch the hearts of local residents. Giving out large bags, these recycling volunteers encourage residents to make recycling a regular part of their routine, telling them there will be a collection day every month.
I tell them all that they can do recycling easily just in their homes. They can save and sort the paper, cardboard, and plastic bottles. I tell them if they don't collect them, it is just the waste. They should give it to the recycling center. This way, each person can do good deeds, and doing good deeds will put people's hearts at ease.
The money collected from recycling can go towards helping others and can also increase personal merit. The residents happily accept the recycling bags from volunteers. Some people even make donations on the spot. A monthly publication helps local residents better understand Tzu Chi and their mission. After the day's work, volunteers have collected a full load, and they are also full of hope for the aspiration to do recycling that they have helped plant here in this community. In the United States, the Monrovia Recycling Station is a community recycling station where more than 20 elderly volunteers get together to sort papers and pile up newspapers every Wednesday. Despite their advanced age, they are still committed to protecting the planet.
90-year-old Chen Chunchang is holding the stake of newspapers nimbly.
When I first joined Tzu Chi, for the most time, I did recycling. At first, I took the responsibility for making billboards. I had been making billboards for 9 years. At that time, all of the billboards were made by me.
On Monrovia's Recycling Day, more than 30 elderly volunteers came in the early morning to pile up the newspapers. They have reused the rope to bundle the newspapers for 30-some years. They made the frame with their own hands with the wood left from home repairs.
I made this frame on my own. I was the first one who came up with this idea. Since there were 20 to 30 people folding the newspapers, I made this frame for everyone. I bought this and I made 20 to 30 frames with that kind of wooden boards.
Everyone calls volunteer Chen Chunchang godfather. Ever since he joined Tzu Chi in 1989, he has never retired from being a volunteer.
I am very happy to be a volunteer. As Master said, the more we do, the more we gain. If I don't do more right now, I will have no opportunities in the future. As I am aging, I don't have much time to do that, so I should cherish the time.
Another recycling volunteer is Mrs. Tai, who is even older.
I heard that the recycling station didn't provide lunch, so I asked my son to join me and prepare lunch for everyone. That's how we started.
92-year-old Mrs. Tai is a volunteer chef at the recycling station. Over the past 3 years, she has never been absent, and she has even obtained a chef's certification.
There were 100 questions in the exam, and after I passed the exam, I obtained the chef certification from the government. This way, people can feel at ease when we cook for them. This recycling station allows the recycling volunteers like us to contribute to the society with joy every day.
At this recycling station, despite their old age and health problems, each elderly volunteer works wholeheartedly to protect our planet.
The Elan prison is promoting a weekly vegetarian day at the facility and has asked Tzu Chi volunteers to teach inmates how to cook meatless meals. Kitchen volunteers were happy to teach the inmates what they knew and hope more individuals will join them in adopting a meatless diet.
How to make a delicious vegetarian cuisine, Tzu Chi volunteer Xu Qingbiao begins his lessons from how to control the flames. He also passes on his tips on how to chop ingredients, with speed being a key element.
Don't rush it, slowly. That's it, you're improving.
The most sought-after recipe is the 3 cups king trumpet mushroom, which the volunteers do not hold back on tips as they teach the inmates. Elan Sanxing Prison plans to roll out a weekly vegetarian day and thus invited Tzu Chi volunteers to especially come teach their inmates who work in the kitchen.
It's great, they really wanted to learn and they got an A for effort.
It's important they don't dislike vegetarian and enjoy the meal.
Everyone was really into learning, and the inmates were glad to learn a new skill on top of perhaps getting a healthier diet.
Everyone knows that eating meat is not so healthy for the body, as it makes the body more acidic. A vegetarian diet will keep the body healthy and reduce the acidity.
Besides a healthy meal, the vegetarian food was quite delicious. Starting from this point forward, these inmates know how to do their part to protect the planet.
Have you ever come across food ingredients which have sprouted, causing you to hesitate from using them? In our next piece, we'll get some health tips from a nutritionist about which food ingredients are still edible, even after they have sprouted.
At the market, most consumers have the same habits in picking out garlic.
Most people think that sprouted garlic are not good.
Sprouted garlic do not have aroma.
There are rumors that sprouted garlic is poisonous. However, researchers have pointed out that sprouted garlic contain more antioxidants than fresh ones. In other words, they're edible and non-toxic.
The research has shown that sprouted garlic contains more antioxidants. Basically, they are still edible. However, we still recommend big and fresh garlic.
Another ingredient prone to sprouting is potato, as its skin turns green when exposed to light during transportation. Since sprouted potatoes' alkalinity has increased in such cases, it could cause stomachache if eaten.
It will sprout faster due to the difference in temperature. After buying potatoes, one should put them in the fridge and not expose them to light.
Sweet potatoes are rich in dietary fiber and popular among seniors. Surprisingly, sprouted sweet potatoes are still edible.
The sprouted parts will not taste as good, which means its nutritional value also decreases. So just remove the sprouts when cooking it.
If you find sprouted ingredients while cooking, make sure you know what can still be eaten and what to throw away. After all, health and food safety should be a priority.
In Dadaocheng, Taipei, a group of ladies recently took a stroll through the market wearing some traditional qipaos, which they designed themselves as part of a course offered at a Jingsi tea house. They were there to show off their hard work and vintage style as they celebrated their nostalgia for Taiwan's past.
These group members at the Jingsi Tea House in Dadaocheng, Taipei are all wearing qipaos that they designed themselves. Like a scene from the past, these ladies are walking through the Dihua Old Street in the historic market area of Taipei City. They form quite a contrast with the other visitors dressed in their vintage styles.
We always see people going to Japan and dressing up in kimono, or going to Korea to try wearing the traditional hanbok. This is a historic place for Taipei, and people hardly ever wear traditional qipao, so we want to capture that nostalgia.
In these stills from different films, the actresses are dressed in qipao, which display the elegance and charm of the classic style. The qipao was the basic style of dress worn by women in Taiwan from the 1950s throughout the 1970s. Shopping in the market, wearing a qipao, one feels the elegance and nostalgia of another time.
It's very refreshing and a special feeling. I feel extremely nervous, but I also think that wearing qipao gives me a lot of confidence by representing the traditional beauty of the qipao.
Every member's individual qipao has its own story to tell.
This qipao was actually designed by my son. At first, I really resisted the idea and thought, how can I wear this design on a qipao? But after a bit, he convinced me. I said I'd wear it to his wedding in the future. He said that was fine.
Here at the old Dihua Street, tourists and locals alike come here to see a part of Taiwan's history and culture. And these ladies in their traditional qipao are also celebrating that culture.
200 Tzu Chi volunteers in Toronto recently put on a sutra adaptation to promote filial piety. And that's all the time we have for today. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next time.